new from Boss Fight Studio. Look, this new line has my attention right off the bat. So, if you're like me, you like barbarians. You like the whole barbarian fantasy. You like that genre. You like lower dark fantasy. I'm not 100% on board with things like Lord of the Rings. It's not like a big thing for me. I kind of enjoy it, but it doesn't hit my sweet spot. I find the more darker version of barbarian fantasy to be where I like to make my home. Low fantasy, dark fantasy, that's where I like to be. And Boss Fight Studios just decided to release something awesome. A whole new line. And it has my attention right off the bat. Now, you know I like Conan the Barbarian, if you've been on this channel before. And you know I like Red Sonia. And you know that I collect things like He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and different barbarian-esque figures like that. And just so happens that coming at that scale, the origin scale, is a whole new line from Boss Fight Studio. And it is pretty cool. This, of course, is Big Bad Toy Store. And that right there, right up there, that is Conan, Red Sonja, and a skeleton. Guys, this seems awesome. This new line is going to be called Immortal Champions, and they're starting the line with Red Sonja, Conan, and a skeleton. Let's get the simple one out of the way. That's a skeleton. He's still cool. I'm not bagging on him or anything like that. Like, he's pretty cool. This guy is going to be, he's going to have the ability to, so let's start at the top. He comes with a helmet, a sword, and a shield, all weathered. That was something they pointed out, weathered. So there's going to be a wash on these weapons that make them look kind of old, like old bronze or something of that nature. He's going to come with the shield. He's going to come with the sword and with the helmet, and you will be able to decide how that's going to go on. From what I understand, his wrists will move, his elbows will move, arms will move. Lower hips, like at the legs and whatnot, will move. The knees will move, and the feet will move. And he'll have a ball joint neck, is what they said. So he's got some decent level of movement on him. Think Motu Origins. That's pretty much what we're copying here. But his rib cage, they did point out today on their videos that they posted that the rib cage is hollow. That's open. So if you stabbed into it with the sword or something like that, it would go through there. That's actually pretty cool. So that's a lot of detail work. That's a different level of sculpting than what we've seen on things like Motu. That comes with a price point, and we will be talking about that. Also, the bones themselves, they said, are going to get a full wash. So there's going to be a wash over the bones that really bring that detail out, which is a really cool idea. Because then things like the cracks and the imperfections in the skeleton and whatnot really kind of shine through. So the skeleton, kind of a decent start. Look, we're looking at something like Jason and the Argonauts. We got like a skeleton here. Of course, Conan the Barbarian, some sort of skeletal warrior that's in like an old tomb that stands up and starts fighting the warriors. Like, this works. This is very much a Conan thing. This is very much a low fantasy thing. This works very well. I do like this for what it's worth. These are going to be costing $30. Worth it? Not worth it? We'll talk about that. Let's check out the next one real quick. This is Conan. Now, Conan, right off the bat, just to put it out there, this is like comic book angry face, mean Conan. Like this really captured it. This is good. I like this a lot. I don't think we're going to be seeing extra hands or anything like that. I think this is very much the kind of thing where he's got the 2 gripping hands and that's it. He's going to have a sword, and it's going to have a lot of chinks and everything in it too, like chinks in the armor and whatnot, because like, look, this has like hard cuts and gashes and chips and everything that have been kind of pulled out of it. That's cool. That means his sword is worn. It's old. Conan is the kind of person that finds a weapon in a place, wherever he happens to be, on a battlefield, in a tomb, whatever, and he makes use of it. And if he can hold on to that for a long time, then more the better. In the comic books, he was constantly picking up a weapon, then he'd have it for 2, 3, 4, 5 issues. Something would happen and he'd end up losing it. And he'd even talk about it in different issues. He'd be like, I lost my sword, or something like that. I don't feel right, blah, blah, blah. I'm more vulnerable in this position and whatnot. That's cool. Now, Conan is going to come with a sword, a shield, and this belt. So this is not on there 100% right off the bat. There's a different belt without this. So if you have him without a weapon or something like that, why this isn't just a piece that's automatically there, I don't know, but I may have a mild theory. We'll talk about it in a minute. So see, we got the sword, we got a belt, we got the shield. That's the idea here. Now, without the belt, he looks like this. Your standard-esque He-Man gold belt type of thing. That's fine for what it is, but if you want him to hold the sword and whatnot, you want him to be able to carry the sword on him, they gave you this type of sheath belt with the little loop here. That's cool. That completes the look for me. So I don't think mine is going to go without the belt, maybe on very specific pictures or something like that. But otherwise, I'm happy with this. I think the face is mean. It's rugged. The hair is long. It feels right. This feels right. It feels like they really knocked it out with Conan. I feel like look, for this scale of figure, they knocked it out of the park. And this kind of design. I don't know if they could have done better. Let's look at the last one, and then we'll talk about a couple things. This is their Red Sonia. She's got full luxurious hair. She's got her face done up decently, like not too hardcore in terms of the makeup. She has that weird natural makeup thing where they never actually have makeup, but you can blatantly tell that, like, how do I put this? It's like, it's a fantasy element, right? She probably wouldn't look like that if we were talking about real life or something like that. But it's fantasy, it's comic books, it is what it is. I like it for what it's worth. Now, this is where I wanted to talk a little bit, though. This is a 5.5 scale. They made her decently muscular, like they gave the arms some definition and everything like that. But as I'm looking at her, I'm noticing minor things, like I don't think these are sculpted into the legs. I think it's separate. I think this belt here with the bikini, I think that's separate. Just like Conan had a separate part that you could take off, and you could take the helmet off the skeleton. It looks to me like the armor might be removable. That this might be another kind of situation where they make a body, and this is Boss Fight Studio, so I'm not saying it's wrong. This is Epic Hacks. I'm wondering if the reason Conan has the removable part is because maybe we will get updates or maybe even accessory packs, because figures are getting more expensive. We'll save this for a moment here. Right now, she's going to come with the sword. She's going to come with the axe. She's got this knife, but I don't think it's removable or usable in any actual way, which is a bit of a detriment to me because I'm used to seeing her in a lot of books where she has the sword and then she has the knife and it's kind of turned the other way. And I think that's very much a fighting style for her that's regular. Not that the axe isn't, but I would have liked that knife to have actually been usable. There's no indication here that any of the armor comes off, as far as I am seeing. But I have a feeling that lays loose down at her bottom. And I think these are not grafted into the legs. I think I think those are loose parts at the legs and whatnot, like the braces. Let's talk about a couple of things real quick. Could we see accessory packs for this? If I'm right about what I'm kind of seeing here, I don't think it's impossible. I think we could very well see some kind of accessory packs, which would make for a new kind of buying system. You buy the Red Sonia, you buy the Conan, and then you buy packs that update those looks. Want a different kind of Red Sonia? Here's an accessory pack. Want a different kind of Conan? Here's an accessory pack. That might not be the worst idea. Let us be honest about something here. We are entering a point where toys are about to go up in price, and it's unavoidable. And I'm not talking about the whole situation. I'm not talking about tariffs. I'm talking about toys. Without a doubt, we've been watching it the last year or so. In fact, really the last 5 years, if we've really been paying attention. There are certain companies out there that, Marvel Legends, they've been cost reducing like crazy. Everybody keeps talking about it. Hey, we're paying this much, but for some reason we're only getting this. It's less impressive than it was, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying you're right. You have been watching the quality of the pieces go down. And the price has been going up, but not a whole bunch. Just here and there. While we've been watching other companies that people have been quick to point out, don't waste your money on Marvel Legends. It's pointless. You could go over to Mafex, and they've got better sculpts and better paint and better figures and yada. But they also cost like $89. I think we are looking at a point where the cost reduction has gone as far as it can go, without us trailing backwards at this point. And realistically, some of these figures, if you want them to be what you want them to be, they're going to cost more. If you want the paint, that's more money. If you want the sculpt, that's more money. If you want every figure to come with the best possible posing body and so on and so forth, that's money. Heck, these figures right here we just talked about, they're coming out. They're these. They are these. Okay? They're exactly this. They're 5.5 inspired by this line of figures. I do not, they say that they're inspired by the 80s. Sure, that's this. And this modern articulation scale has done very, very well for Motu and Mattel in general. And now we're seeing a lot of people come out that kind of copy that idea. Hey, it's working. People like it. Let's run with it. And they're not that expensive, but they're also not overly interesting. Let us be honest about it, okay? Most of the figures look pretty basic. Basic paint, basic design. That's fine because they're based on toys from the 80s, which were a little more basic. And because of that, you don't have to go crazy about it, which has allowed them to stay at price points that hit around 18 and 22. But these are coming out the door at 30 and above, because we don't know what extra is going to be put on there, and we don't necessarily know what's going to happen as prices increase naturally, because we're watching it happen. If you're not watching it happen, even the daydream of Jadis producing these figures at $25, but they're not anymore. They were able to make a honeymoon out the door. It almost feels like they chose to take a hit. And then figures started coming out and started going up to 35. 30 on base. Possibly 40 in the near future. Heck, Shaggy was like, what, $30, $35? Shaggy. That's not an extensively interesting character, really. It couldn't have taken that much to sculpt him out, right? We're watching. Heck, even the Mega Man figures have gone up in price. And they're not too crazy. That's a Mega Man figure right there. And it's small compared to a DJ figure, right? So you imagine this would cost less. But really, as it stands right now, at the price point that I bought him at and the price point I bought him at, they were the same. So we are watching action figures increase in price right now. So coming out the door at $30 and giving you a decent body right off the bat with wash and paint and everything included, it looks as good as it's going to look at this price range at what we can do. Maybe the next step, if that red Sonia is what I think it is, and that Conan having a removable belt, why? Why wasn't that just built into him? Is there any real reason to have that belt separate? I mean, yeah, you could say that because the sheath part, just like He-Man, comes with the belt on the chest, and then he could put the sword away. I'm not going to go against that argument, but I'm saying that if these kind of parts are removable, and if you want to start saving some money on figures, does it not make sense to introduce a new kind of building plan in terms of how figures work? You buy Red Sonia. You buy Conan. You buy packs of accessories to change the era. You have Conan. Do you want the king? Here's a different set of legs. Here's a different head. Like maybe he's an entire figure. That's a bad one. But say you want something around the time when he was, when he was running around with the chainmail. They just release a part that you can put on. He's got the chainmail. Maybe you want different weapons, different styles in your Conan. Maybe they release parts. Maybe you want Red Sonia, but you want her in the blue. Maybe that's a literal thing that they release, a pack. I don't know. But it feels like accessory packs. After you buy the base figure, updating it through accessory packs is way easier for them to produce. And then they could do like, hey, here's an accessory pack. And by the way, we're doing another run of this figure because people are still out there buying it. So maybe it's easier to do something like that instead of having 6 different guys on the shelf who are all basically, the same guy but like a different head. The same guy but mildly different, effects and things like that. Would it make more sense to produce basically the perfect Captain America and then 2 or 3 accessory packs? Here's a shield pack. It comes with everything you could ever want for your shields. It comes with 2 shields, one that is perfect and one that has a little bit of damage on it. It has like holes in it and whatnot. And you can equip things like blast points so you can put the shield up and you have those little pokes in there that you could put like bullet shots, ricochets and whatnot on. And then you have the perfect shield and you have an effect that can attach to the wrist or something like that that goes out that looks like he threw it. And then you can add a bunch of different things here and there. And then there's maybe another accessory pack for different kinds of situations. I'm just saying, it feels like we are looking at the beginning of a major shift in the toy industry and how it sells to adults. And this kind of got me thinking about it. Did I buy into this new line? Did I buy in to this Immortal Champions? Yes. And I've already looked at they're already doing a fan vote for the next wave. And the next wave has 2 pretty cool choices. There's a Medusa possibility. There's like a knight that's really cool. There's like this cool lady with like it looks awesome, okay? You'll have to go check it out. If you're interested in, I saw these posted on Instagram and whatnot. Guys, this looks cool. I don't know 100% what to expect here, like going forward. But for the start of the line, it definitely has my attention. I'm going to get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.